Hey, yo, Neil. Hey, what's up? I got you. Got you. Yeah. R.I.P. Grammy. Free my brother. It's free to his back. Look.
All right, welcome to another episode of One Mic. Back in the building. Lots been going on. We've had quite a sports few weeks in terms of podcast stuff we're talking about. But we feel like NFL's season is around the corner, and so I know we're going to talk a little bit about the NFL today. But we just want to thank y'all for joining us here on One Mic. I want to bring in the fellas and see how they doing. What's up, Darnell? How you doing, my man?
Tired, man. I've been up since 8 o'clock yesterday. Yesterday evening. But hey, ready to get to it.
That's right, man. It's that's why that's why we're the real sports guys. We doing a whole bunch of stuff. We got life happening at the same time. That's how we get down. But we still there. We still coming. It's still coming at you. So that's why we here at the underground making it happen. What's up, my man, Carl Hampton? How you doing? You was at the baseball game, huh?
Yes, sir. Yeah. Brewers lost, unfortunately. Would have looked good, but no, it's good. Chill weekend. Did some good community service yesterday. 100 black men give out backpacks to families, connect them with services as far as reading services, health services, law enforcement services, community services. So at Madison College, I got to see my homeboy, my hometown guy, Dr. Jack Daniels at Madison College. But yeah, shout out to my 100 black men serving the community, making a difference. Provide impact for the community. A lot of African immigrants came along with Latino population, so it was good. Really enjoyed. First time in 4 years because of the pandemic and other things. So it's a good event and chilled out. Went to Madison and went to the game and chilled out. And, getting ready to get back in the grind. Like I said, we real sports guys. Back in the grind come Monday. So yeah.
Yeah, that's it. That idea. It's hard to really focus on education if you don't have all the tools, you don't have all the resources, and so
Amen.
we still event down in Beloit, especially pre-pandemic, and the joy in the families and the relief with the parents and folks, just make sure everybody's getting started on the right foot, having everything they need, and not being determined by whether or not you got the money in your bank account. Yeah, you making sure folks have them. So I'm glad 100 black men are doing what they do. Well, we're gonna jump into it, man. There's a lot to talk about, but we're gonna get into the open mic, and I guess the saga continues. I mean, we knew Big Ten was making moves. We knew that the Pac-12 was on life support, but it's becoming official here with Washington and Oregon making their run and coming over to Big Ten, and the Pac-12 is on life support, and I've been we talked about this on a couple podcasts before with the push by some of the folks and the commissioners and folks to get Congress to do work, to put some things together to really impact the work that can happen around NIL and movement with college athletes. Yet, these presidents and these commissioners can do whatever they want to do. They can make decisions and have kids flying all over the country. I mean, kids are going to be flying 2,000 miles from one side of the country to the other. You got, and all this stuff is built around football. You hear the president from Washington talk about, profile, for the football players, and might be profile for, but if you play in some of these other sports that play a different schedule, it's going to be an impact on that. And we letting all these decisions being made because everybody's chasing the dollar. But yet we want to control what the athletes can make.
They ain't control what athletes make, D-Wills. Huh? I mean, that shows they ain't control what athletes make, man. And bottom line is, this is peanut. What the athletes make is peanuts.
I know. This is all about
TV deals. But it's all about TV deals.
Amber, we're not going to buy into that because it stabilizes a product. right? They want to be able. You want to do all this stuff.
No, my point is that my point. You're not listening to my point. My point is that the players are going to get paid. D. Wells. That's what my best. The players should get paid. That's my point.
But there's a lot more control happening with that right now. That players got freedom. What's happening when college athletics is out of control?
So what do you want? You want more regulation? What do you want?
There's got to be more regulation.
I agree, but what type of regulation though? I mean, it's going to be regulations going to help.
Either or stop. We always okay with regulation when it comes to athletes. We always slip when it talks about what people can do from an institutional standpoint.
I want both. I want both.
Right. So yeah. So if you're
going to get that with Tommy Tuberville and Manchin writing the bill, let's be real.
But to be the same Tommy Tuberville who's supporting policies that go against the brown and black folks who helped him. I agree. That's my point. We're not going to get that Tommy Tuberville who benefited from sweat equity of all these folks that put him in position.
I agree.
Become a senator.
I'm not arguing with you, Wells. I'm saying it's all. It's all messed up, and the players have to navigate accordingly. That's all I have to say, man.
No, but what I appreciate is when we have a coach speak up. Our Missouri coach, Eli, what's his name? Drinkwitz.
Dead man walking. Dead man walking. Dead man walking.
Dead man walking. But
he's dead man walking. He had never chair to sit in. You talk about hot seat. He ain't got a seat to sit in.
But the thing about it, I'm glad somebody spoke up.
Yeah. Well, again. D. Wills, he can speak out. He's about to get thrown out, so he can speak out.
Okay, but what's everybody?
I want somebody like Nick Saban to speak out. That's what I want somebody. You talk about living on the sweat.
Based on whether or not you can keep your job is not the point. Somebody got to speak up.
Again, other people going to speak up. D. Wills, it's a messed up. I mean,
who's speaking up?
My alma mater got caught really flat-footed. They look like idiots right now. We got the best scholars and resources in the world, and we get flat-footed like this. Embarrassing, man. I mean, we out there. We in the Pac-4 right now, basically. Come on now.
All right, Darnell. I'm bringing you. Probably don't really. Young folks don't care. They like to stream. Yeah, so Darnell, what's going on?
I mean, at the end of the day, capitalism's going to win out. I mean, whoever brings the most money, that's what's going to happen. That's what's going to happen. And they open the door for this professionalism of amateur sports, and it's going to just further continue. But like Eli Drinkwitz was saying, it's not just the revenue-generated sports.
Yeah.
You got golf, you got swim and dive, all these other sports that the teams, like you said, they're playing, they're going to have to travel just as much, if not more. Well, they will travel more because college football, they only play once a week.
Yeah.
They're going to have to travel a lot more. It's gonna really affect them. And really, what the big problem is, it's gonna drive costs up because that travel is not cheap.
No.
And you're gonna see some of these schools eventually start cutting some of these sports that are not making revenue.
That's the part I'm glad you said.
They're already doing it, man. I mean, Wisconsin got baseball.
But it's going to accelerate that.
I agree it's going to accelerate. Well, again, like I said, people fault the colleges, but let's be real. The key thing are the consumers of this product, the people. They ain't going. The bottom line is that the Big Ten wants you to be able to, like the NFL, get up at 12 noon and watch your product or Big Ten all day long to 2 a.m. That's what they want you to do, basically. They want you to watch it all day long. They want you to watch the 12, the 3, the 6, the 9. It's all about money, man. And the thing about it is,
then if it's all about money, then why are we trying to regulate the collectives? Why are we trying
they haven't regulated yet, D. Wills.
I mean, they're not
regulating transfer.
It's a bill. It ain't law.
If we free enterprise,
I think Biden might veto that. I think Biden.
I heard KJ Bolden. He just committed. He just committed yesterday or the day before that. I heard he got like a $2.5 million deal to go to Florida State.
Oh yeah, on the table. We don't know what's under the table. On the table. We don't know what's under the table.
So, and I'm like, if we're gonna be Wild Wild West, let's be Wild Wild West. If we're gonna regulate, let's regulate. That's
they're not gonna regulate. D. Wills, do you think Biden's gonna sign a bill? A bill's gonna regulate? No, he's gonna veto that mess, man. Especially something with Tuberville. Tuberville put his name on it. You know it's gone. So we're gonna have a Wild Wild West. We're gonna have they ain't staying right in when they go on the credit card. They go into 5-star, 6-star hotels. Come on now. I mean, again, like I said, I'm worried about the true student athletes who are gonna get compromised by that. That's what I'm worried about. But again, like I said, D. Will, people want to see this right now, or they would stop it. They want to see this. I heard a guy on CBS Radio talking about I'm apoplectic, and no. You're apoplectic. No, again, this is what you want to see. This you want to see these super conferences. You want to see, the Big Ten all over the world as far as Dublin. We ain't talking about America. We got people going to Ireland. Shoot, we might go to Africa. So it's just all about printing money, man. And again, like I said, greed it's like Wall Street. Greed is good. And so the main thing about all this has been caused by these TV deals, D. Wills. You know that. All these teams have, and the thing about the Pac-12 was stupid. The Pac-12 had a chance to add Texas, Oklahoma, and they turned them down. That's why the Pac-12 is now the WAC4 now, because they didn't have the foresight to understand where the market was going and where the TV deal was king. And the sad thing about who their commissioner is, whoever he is, he should be gone. Oh, best thing they could get was a streaming deal from Apple Plus. Come on now. I mean, it's just like I said. You've seen again a textbook debacle by the Pac-10 as far as how to mismanage a situation where you got brand names like Stanford and Cal sitting on the sidelines looking stupid. It's unbelievable.
And like I said, I'm all about the business if we're gonna be all about the business. But when you start when I start hearing people stand up at their opening media days and talk about a little more money, even with the money we just talk about the young person from Florida State, that's small money. In the big picture thing, that's small money when we talk about what's being generated. And so, if we're gonna go there, let's go there.
They're gonna go there, D. Wills. We're gonna give bigger money for the player. They don't regulate this because it's unwieldy right now. You have to have too many people sit at the table. It can't just be the politicians in DC doing this. It's gotta be everyone at the table, from the Foxes of the world, ESPNs of the world. They caused this. Big Ten networks of the world. They caused this. They caused this super conference to happen because people were not satisfied with the local rivalry. They don't want to hear about local rivalry. They want to be international. Forget national. They want to be traveling. I mean, baseball's going to be like that. There's a reason why these baseball teams are going over to London every year, because eventually they're going to have baseball in Europe. They're going to have football in Europe. Jacksonville probably will be the first European team. They don't understand.
That's a good discussion for another day, because I think that's fool's gold. But I think it's fool's gold.
You sound like the Pac-12. They thought it was fool's gold. We're not going to add Texas and Oklahoma because we're a Western brand.
I think this is a whole different issue. I think when you're talking about competing for eyeballs in Europe and what people value in Europe, there could be. I mean, I could see some expansion into Mexico City. I could see some other pieces, but yeah, that would be a good conversation for another day. But the part that I think Darnell hit a really interesting thing is that to see, because we're making this all about football. Which, look, I love football. I played college football. I'm gonna push, but when we hit back to the whole thing that they pushing about amateurism and access and everything else, you're going to start to see these, particularly in the Big Ten, who's probably, for the most part, most of those institutions have stayed true when you think about the number of opportunities they offer, right? The business model in the SEC has been, normally they're staying around probably around 13, 14 programs. So there's a business model around it. Mm-hmm. If you look at Ohio State, which makes Ohio State so amazing, I think Ohio State has like 30 something sports they offer, and they're still elite in football. They're competitive basketball. They do,
it's
they
branding,
that kind of true experience.
It's a branding.
Right. And they win.
The best international brand.
They win. And when we see the impact, as someone who spent some time with a lot of different athletes, who talks to a lot of different coaches in these spaces around this, to see the impact on some of these other opportunities where you have students who are benefiting from having an opportunity to go to, they're not looking to go pro, right? They're in an Olympic sport. They're in a sport that isn't going to have a lot of promise seen beyond whatever they're going to do at that point. To have this also impact those sports, because people are going to overextend. As you're saying, Darnell, the cost of that's going to go up. Cost of facilities, cost of travel, all that's going up. Where are you going to get that from? Who's that money going to come from? right? Who's that supposed to benefit?
Those
What
contracts,
impact does it have on these other sports?
with Fox and with they're going to be higher, much higher.
Right. And the other piece about this is with some of these moves, and I don't know how this is going to play out now that Pac-12 is going whatever, but even when UCLA was coming, not all the sports were coming.
Yeah, I mean,
right?
we still have to, it remains to be seen if all sports come as well, but it just makes sense.
Even all your own athletic department, you're going to have 2 different conferences represented.
Yeah, that's true.
That to me, that don't make any sense. None.
Oh, Notre Dame does it. They're independent in football.
It don't make no sense.
They're
they
ACC in basketball, right? They're
everybody else. I think everybody else is like ACC, but football, right?
Yeah.
So it's like one sport, but that still don't make sense, right? When you're doing that, if you spend time in it, so there's a lot of things we trying to patch together, and usually when you're trying to patch stuff together right there, you really trying to hold it together. It's like tape. It's not holding together by anything strong.
Yeah.
And so we got to keep paying attention, and I want us to be critical. I'm glad we arguing about this, but it is just.
I'm not going to say argue. I'm just saying that I don't think it's the end of the world, D. Wills. I think, yes, it's unfortunate about some of the sports that will be sacrificed. Yes, it's unfortunate about some of the people who probably went to these places and thought they would be staying close to home per se, and they're not. They're going to be traveling around the country, but again, it's going to increase the NIL activities. It's going to increase. I mean, you're going to be able to see, if you're a college football junkie, you're going to be able to see your brand of football all day. And that's something that's invaluable. You'll be able to literally, like pro football, sit down and watch football all day. And at the crib with your crew Saturday and Sunday. And so that's the thing. And then we need to make sure the integrity of we all care about academic. We want to make sure the integrity of our institutions are not going to be sacrificed. But again, like I said, the market.
It is. Like, Carl, you've been around it. Like,
it's not going to be sacrificed anyway, D. Will. Come on.
It is. It is.
Again, it ain't like it's been sacrificed before the Super Conference, D. Wills. It's just going to be, again, I like the fact it's going to show, it's going to put, again, a microscope on this stuff. Is going to be able to expose this. We've seen things we never thought that Northwestern would be the epicenter of hazing, right? We never thought again UCLA would be part of the Big Ten, right? I mean, it's a new thing. I mean, it's again, like I said, I want to see what it is. And I think eventually, we know what's going to happen.
It's good by football, but you're only looking at it through the football lens. Right now, your entire point is through football, and that's the problem.
But the thing about D-Will is that nobody's watching other sports.
Everybody else is part of the NCAA.
They're not watching other sports. I mean, I care about those athletes, but let's be real. In the big scheme of things, they're not looking at anybody watching no Minnesota, Michigan baseball on a particular day.
You see the uptick on a lot of these other sports. Women's basketball uptick.
Women's basketball is key again, but women's basketball, they get in the bag too.
Your volleyball uptick.
Volleyball is uptick. I'm in the volleyball capital with Wisconsin. So again, like I said, let's see it. I don't think let's see how it smokes out, D. Will. So, I mean, let's see.
Do you trust it? Darnell, do you trust them? Do you trust any people?
I don't trust them. I never trust them from the get-go.
Darnell, do you trust them? You trust them? Huh? No.
I don't trust them. That's
so why are we trying to trust them? Why are we waiting to see some people we know have not demonstrated?
Again,
when people are referred to Tuberville as the savior for anything,
he ain't the savior. Again, like I told you, unless I don't want to get political here, unless there's a new president in 2025, that bill is dead on arrival. Anything on Manchin in Tuberville is dead on arrival, man. So let's not even talk about regulation. There's no regulation right now. You got people doing NIL in high school. Amari Bailey was getting a bag, $2-3 million a bag. He was getting more money outside of the NBA before inside the NBA, right? I mean, everyone talking about Bronny. Bronny was getting paid NIL before.
They not only want the bag, they want to control the movement, man.
They want to control, but
they want to control the movement, man.
I don't think it's going to be. The Supreme Court opened the floodgates. Remember that the Supreme Court opened the floodgates, and therefore you have to have now legislative control to rein in. But the thing about it is, it's hard to pass laws this big, man. You're gonna have a veto of this, man. I mean, I'm telling you, President Biden, I wouldn't sign Tommy Tuberville and Joe Manchin's bill. Are you crazy? That's bad politically. I don't care if it had You give $1 million to every. If it's the best, it's the bottom. It's the optics of it. The optics, and they're not gonna. It's gonna be wild, wild west for a while, man. Trust me.
All right, my gut, I said 10 years ago this stuff was going to end up in Congress. Everybody's like, "Nah, that's never going to
It
happen."
will end up in Congress, but
Now
it
it's
would have
here.
to be a super.
I'm telling you right now, it's going in a direction where folks are. It's a slippery slope.
Let me ask you something. I mean, we talk about real sports. We talk about real sports guys, D. Will. We talk about real sports guys. You're the average person right now coming up on Monday, worried about the big trend. They worry about paying their mortgage. They worry about paying their bills. They worry about no Big 10, Big 12. Come on now. They worry about how they're gonna pay for college.
Look.
Right?
The average person growing up have appreciated their rivalries. The average person growing up have grown up on all this stuff. The average person has a lot more interest than you think. But I think our job in this space is to point out things that the average person ain't really seeing. And maybe it doesn't resonate now, but when they see it in like 5 years, like, oh, that's what them cats was talking about. That's what they was talking about, right?
Again,
right?
like I said,
like we're not average because we know enough about this to know that it is going wrong. Like we close enough to know that it looks shiny on the outside. You know, when I saw Washington's president talking, I was like, look at this, boy. Oh my goodness, you out here spewing this? Okay, all right. I believe you. I believe you. I believe you. It's this is we got there's more chapters to this one, and we'll keep watching it. All right, y'all. I can tell this thing's gonna go for a while, so we're gonna spend too much more time on it. Let's get into something a little more interesting. And I'm up there jumping and missing my spot. So we've been talking about NFL, and usually we'll go through the divisions, and we agree. Look, we're not gonna do that. We leave that to somebody else to go and do divisions, and maybe at some point we'll talk about AFC champions and whatever and Super Bowl predictions. We'll get to that. But I think over the next couple podcasts, we've kind of been generating some interesting questions about as we enter the season that we want to get into that may bring out something different about the season. And so each of us have kind of like, I think, offered some perspective. We'll try to work through those questions over the next set of podcasts as we prepare for the NFL season, because there's a lot of storylines going on, a lot of interesting stuff happening. And so we'll kick that off here, and then each of the future podcasts leading up to the season, we'll build some other questions. Maybe we'll have a list of rankings of players, or we will do. However, we're going back and forth. We're gonna have fun with it. We're not just gonna do the typical, breaking down each division, and other than if we can find a way to have Darnell and Hammer argue about offensive linemen, which is still hilarious. The funniest thing ever in picking their right.
He's winning right now because my man Andy Thomas got the bag, man.
Every time we prepare I'm losing again. NFL stuff, I laugh about y'all too. The debates and the way y'all go back, that stuff is hilarious. So we might get into one of those. So in Darnell, it helps us have a number of really good questions that I think will be good for this first show that we'll try to kind of come up here. So we're going to start with, we've seen rookies have impact. And so come in the gate, especially recently, evidence of rookies just coming out the gate. Jamar Chase, I think it was just good from the first time he walked into practice. I heard him talking about recently, because they had a separate locker room for the rookies. I think by the end of the week, they moved him to the big locker room because they realized that he didn't need to be in that little rookie locker room. So there's some cats who already move into the big locker room from the rookie area because all the vets and everybody know that they're that dude. And so I wanted to spend some time just thinking about who the people that y'all think might have, who are rookies, who y'all believe going to have an impact out the gate. Darnell, I'll let you start about some folks that you think will have, impact, the rookies that you think will have an impact this year.
So we can pick more than one?
You can pick more than one. We're gonna play with this. I'm not gonna put a lot of rules on it.
Okay. My number one guy, it should be no surprise. Jalen Carter. Jalen Carter for the Eagles because, they got rid of some guys, right? So the young guys, a lot of them from Georgia, but they going to play. They're going to get time. You're going to get snaps. and he's talented and he's around familiar surroundings. I think he's going to have an instant impact down there in Philadelphia. And my other guy is Jackson Smith and Jigba. He slipped down because his injury history, but this guy he's a route technician. He's one of the better receivers that you'll find. I remember watching him in that Rose Bowl, and it wasn't just the Rose Bowl. He had other 200-yard games where he was putting up numbers just like that. But he's a guy. He's a chain mover plus some. So I think he's gonna be a weapon that'll.
You mean he was, right? You mean he was, right?
What do you mean was?
You mean he was? Well, he didn't play that much last year. You mean he was, right?
I'm talking about this year.
About 2 years ago, right? You talking about 2 years ago?
I'm talking about this
2 years
year.
ago.
I'm
Talking about
talking
2 years ago.
I'm talking about 3 weeks from now. 3 weeks from now.
We'll see. I ain't crazy about JSN. Go ahead.
Yeah, Jackson Smith and Jigba.
So those are the ones you got. You got anything else? Anyone else?
I don't want to pick
No,
every.
let's go. We always throw a few more back in. Go and hammer. Let me see. Who do you think?
Definitely Anthony Richardson, man. I think that this brother is going to be sensational. I think again, I think Shane Steichen is a perfect thing for him. It's a perfect franchise. Take it over. If they keep Jonathan Taylor, but this brother like something special, man. I think they're gonna get him raw, go bring him in there, no sitting down, put him in there, and I like this brother, man. I mean, I really think he should have gone one, but I'm not worth billions, sadly, because I would have picked him one. So the brother's amazing, and just he scratched the surface of his potential. And the second guy I like is definitely Will Anderson Jr. Texas. I think he's going to be a phenomenal edge, one of the best edges ever in that position. Him and Stroud together, I think I'll make it nice. I mean, they dogged CJ Stroud, call him dumb and stuff because this stupid test he had. This brother's going to ball out. I mean, they've always downgraded this brother when he was a 4-star and they made him a 5-star. Brother's dad's in prison. He's got a chip on his shoulder. And this is the thing he needed. He needed to be dissed like this. To call him dumb and stuff like that. This brother's going to come with it. And so those are three players I like. I'll tell you who's going to be the absolute bust, though, is number one, so-called number one, 5'9", 180, Bryce Young. He's going to be a sucker. And you heard from Hammer first. He will be a bum. Watch.
We'll come back and debate that one. So I was going to highlight three, and y'all talked about two. Will Anderson, I believe.
This is water. This is water, not liquor. This is water.
I understand that.
Ain't liquor.
He's got it. I think Will Anderson is going to be. I mean, he's got a defensive-minded coach. I think they're going to really focus on laying a foundation for that defense. He's going to be a key to that. He's a smart kid. He's ready to go. And I just don't know if he got he gets a lot of love, but with Georgia being so dominant last year, I don't know if he felt like he came out and got the kind of love he's got. He's still like a driven kid, and I think I feel like he got a chip that he's going to prove, and he's in a situation where he's going to be playing in a conference where you still got some, he's got, Jacksonville got some great players. They're going to do stuff, but I think he can get after it. But then you got Richardson up there, in Indianapolis, who's still young. He's been playing them twice a year, and then you got the Titans who are figuring stuff out. But I don't fall in love with their quarterback, and so I think he's gonna be able to put some pressure. He's gonna be able to get some things done. But I just think he's the kind of player that's gonna convert pretty well to the league and is gonna start out right away and make things happen. I'm with you on the Jalen Carter thing. There's a number of reasons why he came up for question for all the things we talked about. But I think that became a chip, and he went to he's going to. Sometimes players go to the right city, and Philly in the organization is the right place for him, and I think he's gonna feed off of that. Yeah, and he's got enough great players around him where you just can't focus on him like they were focused on him in college. Which I think if you're gonna be able to single block this kid, he gonna cause some problems. He gonna disrupt the league, and I think I think he feels like he should have been the first pick, and I think he's gonna play like that. He got that kind of dog in him. The other person is Zay Flowers. He's in Baltimore. I hate to say, I don't like the Ravens. I'm on this other side. But I think there's a lot of chips over there in the Baltimore right now. You know, quarterback was being dissed. He got something he want to prove. People don't think he needs to get the money. You know, I think there's something there, and they got a kid who look like he can do some work. And I got a feeling he gonna really open things up for them in Baltimore. I hate to say that as a Steeler fan, but I gotta show him some love. Richardson, I'm kind of interested. You said that about him because I think he can be good. I just think rookie quarterbacks struggle, and um, and I think he'll have moments. Um, but I think when people are able to put the full package on you, I think he gonna need some time this season. So I don't know if he's gonna have an impact right off the bat, but he could. I just there's a trend. I mean, even how many interceptions uh uh you know did Manning have when he started out in Indy?
Oh, he
I think
started out
the most
badly, but it's
interceptions ever.
different though,
Like,
dude. You're talking
right?
about 20 years ago. It's different.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that you look at somebody, Justin Herbert's playing well. Burrow started off. It's different. We're talking about these quarterbacks that had growing pains. I don't see that now. Josh
No, yeah,
Allen
but I mean,
started off.
there's a couple.
Burrow,
He wasn't a great passer
Burrow
for
and
year,
Anthony Richardson are polar opposite quarterbacks.
Yeah.
what is that?
I said Anthony Richardson and Joe Burrow are polar opposite.
Yes.
Yeah, they're pro opposite, but I think again, you're talking about a guy that went to a high level as far as Richardson, high level talent. I think poor coaching. I think Billy Napier is one of the worst coaches in the country. And you have a situation where the young man did not live up to his potential at Florida. I think that with Shane Steichen and with Jim Bob Cooter, they're going to bring it. And I think he's going to have I think they're going to be able to put this young man and put him in a position to succeed. I believe that he's got some nice weapons with Pittman, and I like this kid. And I think
No,
that
I'm not saying he's not going to be successful. I don't know if he's going to be a high impact in his rookie year because
I think he'll be a high impact guy.
I think he's going to have some highlight plays. He's going to have some great
I
plays.
think more highlight plays. Johnny Manziel had highlight plays. Got cut. So I'm talking about sustainable production. I think for this young man from day one. I think he definitely will have it from day one. I
got a couple more names.
All right. Who you got?
I think Emmanuel Forbes is going to be a stud.
Yeah, he could play.
I think Emmanuel the corner for the Commanders.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think he's going to be a stud. He's a real big
tall dude. Yeah.
Yeah, and another guy I've been talking about since all combine, Charlie Jones. Man, well, watch out for Charlie Jones. I know he wasn't no early pick, but he's going to be somebody's going to have. Man,
So break down Charlie Jones for people who are listeners who may not know as much about who Charlie Jones is.
Man, Charlie Jones is Hunter Renfrow, and he runs a 4.3. I don't need to say anything. I don't need to say anything. Watch Purdue. Turn on any Purdue game from last year. Charlie Jones is a problem.
So that's who we got for rookies. So we'll pay attention.
And another thing about Charlie Jones is Charlie Jones is going to be playing with the guy you talked about, Jamar Chase.
Yeah, and T. Higgins too. Yeah.
So
he could be good.
He's going to be.
But he went fourth round for a reason, homie. He went fourth round for a reason, dog.
Yeah, because
he's that good. He would go second round.
Well, his type doesn't get picked high.
Yeah, well, there's a reason why, man. They're boomer bust usually.
Where did Julian Edelman get drafted?
Edelman went to the best organization in football.
Where did Hunter Renfrow get drafted?
He went to a bad organization, but he's got dog in him. I mean,
I'm saying this. The whole archetype of player is not a highly drafted player. Where did Wes Welker get drafted?
Yeah, he didn't even get drafted. He didn't hear his name.
You know what I'm saying? Well, I'm saying this whole
But I'm just saying, man, Charlie Jones. I think he will be. I'll agree with you. I think he'll be producing well because of the fact that where he is right now, because he's going to be the fourth receiver with Tyler Boyd, Higgins, and Chase. I mean, he's gonna eat. It's D. Wilson. He's gonna eat well. So he's in a great situation. But I think, like I said, he could go to another place and be an absolute failure. But he's in a great situation. And you're right. He's a guy that, but he's the reason why he went to a lot of programs too. He was suitcase Charlie as far as going a whole bunch of programs. Come on now. So I think he will be good, but I think it's because of the situation he's in and the receivers he's going to learn from and the way his skill set is. He's going to be a great complement to basically like Boyd and Higgins.
Joe Burrow likes to play on time. And
Oh yeah, no,
he's
I
gonna
just
be a
said
chain mover.
Darnell. I'm just saying it's the you know, it's about talent and where you are. And
I know.
talent
I
knows.
was just adding to it. I was adding
Go
to
ahead.
it.
I'll be quiet.
All
Go ahead.
right. So they warmed up, y'all. They warmed up.
Oh
All
yeah,
right.
we warmed up, man.
This next one in here is, who do you trust? So we're gonna say Micah Parsons or T.J. Watt. Who do you trust this year to have out of those two? I'll go to you, Hammer. Who do you trust?
I trust Micah, but Micah talks too much. I mean, he's a great player, but he needs to concentrate on his game and not concentrate on the Twitterverse or the Xverse, what you want to call it now, and yapping. He needs to play. I mean, he's a unique talent. He's got a guy. He's game muscle, and he can really be a unique talent as far as a disruptor. But just stop talking. You know, do and talk. Stop talking. Do it and don't talk. As far as TJ, I mean, TJ is a great player, but TJ gets hurt too much. That's the one thing about it. So you don't know if he'll come and get hurt or not. So you know, he it's boomer bust for TJ. He'll have a great year. He'll be hurt. So I'll take Micah as far as I think that Micah's shown the durability. He's shown the fact that I think also Quinn's scheme and the fact Quinn's there for another year really is going to help him. He didn't take a head coaching job. I think he's going to be head coach of the Cowboys anyway next year if I had to bet my brothers. But that's where I say as far as I like Micah over TJ.
All right. Who you got, Darnell?
A lot of the greats talk a lot. Is that
Man, he ain't great yet, man.
They
He ain't
can't
great
turn
yet.
it off. They can't turn it off.
He ain't great yet. Come on now.
Lawrence
He
Taylor.
ain't Lawrence Taylor yet. Come on. He ain't Lawrence Taylor. He's a great.
Michael Jordan was like that.
You compare Michael, you put the same sentence with Michael Jordan?
I'm saying those people that have those type of personalities, it comes out. It comes out.
Win an NFC championship, then you can talk. Win an NFC championship. Win.
This is a 50-50 fight. Like we was talking about Earl Spence and Terrence Crawford. It didn't turn out to be a 50-50 fight, but this is a 50-50 type of proposition right here. I don't know. I came up with the question, but I don't know, because I think it might just come down to health at the end of the day. Because I definitely trust Micah Parsons, and I definitely trust T.J. Watt as well. But like you said, for the injury concern, I'll probably go with Micah Parsons.
You know I'm going with TJ. Steelers have won one game since 2017 without him in the lineup. He's an impact. He's got 77.5 sacks, 23 forced fumbles, 6 interceptions, 7 fumble recoveries, and 87 regular season games. He's your defensive player of the year. This guy is a disruptor. And on a defense that's got some talent, but not nearly the talent that they got on Dallas's defense. I mean, his impact not only on the defense, but on the rest of the team's performance. So yeah, I mean, I think it's an honest thing around injuries, which kind of happened recently, but yeah, I think he's ready to go, and when he's ready to go, he delivers. He ain't all up in the video. he ain't trying to do music. He's just trying to do the work, and he knows the standard is the standard. So I think this, like you said, these are both great. When I saw this, I was like, I don't know how I'm gonna pick either one of them, but the Steelers have, under Tomlin, have not had a losing season, and in recent years, a lot of that's because of T.J. Watt. When he's been available, he's done his thing. And last year he had a tough year, but for the most part, he's got 87 regular season games under his belt. He's available a lot, and so I trust him to have an impact. But it's a close race. I did see Michael Parsons' face at the fight. Hope he don't have that kind of face at the end of the year if the Cowboys don't look good. That's one thing. All right. Here's another one. Boy, you chose some tough ones. Boy, you got inspired by the potential of the fight on this one. Mahomes or Burrow? I'm gonna go to you, Darnell. Mahomes.
I'm
Who
about
you
to go with
trust?
Patrick Mahomes, man. Patrick Mahomes, he got the hardware. I know they've been talking back and forth, but man, this is another tough one too, because you know how much respect I have about Joe Burrow, because last couple of years I've been telling y'all to put some respect on his name, but other than that, Mahomes, he's number one right now, so I gotta go with Mahomes.
Yeah, I got it. So I'm going with Mahomes because, I mean, what, 5 straight AFC championships or some crazy thing like that. He's got 3 Super Bowls. He's been there. Plus, he won 2. He's the one on top. You got to beat champ. He's the undisputed. But Burrow is closing in. Burrow done crossed the street with the mink coat on. He at the door knocking. He ringing the doorbell. He asked you to turn that little ring doorbell on. I know you can see me. I'm here. It's close. You ask me this next year, I might have a different answer. But I'm that young man. He went to Buffalo in the cold and did his thing. I don't think there's anything he can't do. But until the champ falls, I'm gonna leave him on. Who do you got, Ham?
This is an insulting question. Joe Burrow shouldn't even be in this question. Here's
Don't
a guy,
like that now.
blown knee out,
like
blown knee, appendectomy. Now, I saw that when his cramps, he had cramps, whatever, or his calf. He got shot. Now that's his neck. So no, man. Mahomes is one of the most is the best quarterback, one of the best quarterbacks in NFL history. And I'll say that right now. As far as his impact on this team and Burrow. He had his one chance and failed. So, and he's been hurt a lot of times, and we don't know he's gonna be available.
He only played 3 years, right?
Yeah.
We're talking about Burrow or
Burrow.
Yeah. Well, again,
he only played 3 years. He's been in the Super Bowl.
You got a guy who lucked his way into a Super Bowl against a guy who's the best and played hurt last year. Remember that he played hurt and balled out. Remember that now. Play hurt. So. He's the best. This is an insulting question to him. Jalen Hurts.
I don't think you can't say it totally insulting
because Burrow lucked his way into one Super Bowl.
Everybody's house and got some. So you can't just say it's.
Well, you said Jalen Hurts over Joe Burrow.
I take him right now, yeah, because Jalen comes to play. He doesn't. He's always hurt. It's an appendectomy. It's a blown knee. It's
You were at the game. Wait a minute. You were at the game when Joe Burrow went against Jalen Hurts.
I was. That was college. So that wasn't pro. That was college. Yeah, that was that's the best college game I've been to as far as entertainment. Yeah, heck yeah. Yeah,
all right.
Yeah, it's a phenomenal game. But
sometimes you got to
the best college quarterback ever. I agree with that totally. Nobody would deny that. But I'm saying in the NFL, he's not answering the bell, man. Let's be real.
I don't know how you can say that if he's been to the Super Bowl already.
He's been to the Super Bowl already.
They lost. That's like giving Elway props before
in the final plays.
But John Elway retired 30 years ago.
Again, my point is that before John Elway won the big one and surprised the Packers, he was going to be the best quarterback never to win a Super Bowl.
But you can't say that after 3 years. You can say that after 13 years. You can't
we're gonna see how. I mean, he might not play. He might play like 10 games this year, man. That's a serious injury he's got. You know, y'all play football. I play football.
Ham, sometimes you draw a line on some issues that leave me scratching my head. I understand why you say Patrick Mahomes should be who he is. I agree with you on that, and maybe it's too early to have this conversation. But the way you talking about Burrow. You talk about Burrow
is an excellent.
You talk about Burrow like he's Justin.
You're talking about he's not championship.
You talk about Burrow like he's Justin Fields.
No, I'm not talking about Justin Fields. I wish I had Burrow. I wish we had Burrow in Chicago. Ain't gonna lie. I wish we had Burrow in Chicago. I wish we had Burrow in Chicago because Justin's a little inconsistent. But yeah, my point is that he's not at that level yet. But you can't even talk to them in the same level right now because the fact is that.
How many times has he beat Kansas City?
Yeah, but one time, but
how many times he beat?
He ain't got no chip. It don't matter.
How many times he beat Kansas City when they go ahead?
He beat them a couple times.
He's standing toe to toe in those games. He's standing toe to toe.
Again, the chip is the key, man.
He ain't blinking.
Chip is the key. I want to see a chip.
When he get in the ring, he not blinking. He coming there with.
I never said he was blinking.
He ain't blinking.
My problem, he hasn't gotten in the ring a lot of times.
Well, I mean, he only been there 3 years. In 3 years, he's been in the Super Bowl. What are you talking about?
He was out a whole year.
No, we got to talk about for an organization like Cincinnati, who.
Cincinnati's turned. Cincinnati's turned. See, you talking about the old Cincinnati. Cincinnati's turned that organization around, man. You got a really good coach as far who had
They've
who
always
went to,
had subpar facilities. They've had a whole bunch of stuff
to
to complain about.
again. It's
In
the
spite
culture
of
thing. They got the
my
right
boy
players.
Marv,
They
had to
got
win in
Chase.
spite of.
They got T. Higgins. They got him in the top
Yeah,
of the
they've
second
done well with the
round.
drafting lately.
Tyler, but they made some nice again.
But
They
nothing
got
blew up
culture
until they
shit.
got Joe.
Yeah,
Right?
they got Joe and they got also some good receivers with them too.
Yeah, but he's the
Lamar,
glue.
they got T, they got
But he's
Tyler.
the glue. He's the point guard.
He's
Nobody
a
else
point
is.
guard, but sometimes he's blowing that knee out though, and he can't play
Okay.
points.
All right. We'll leave it alone. All right. Justin Jefferson or Tyreke Hill? All right, Hammer. You said enough. Like, what you gonna say about this?
JJ, because I think again the drama with Tyreke, just the off the field, like I said, how the extracurricular mess. JJ comes to play. I mean, I saw him on NFL Network. He's just keyed in. I mean, the only thing I didn't like about JJ that made no sense to me was like, don't mess around and diss your quarterback when you a wide receiver. That made no sense, man. If I'm JJ, Kirk Cousins is gonna be number 5. Come on now. So many I'm saying
you gotta be
JJ,
real.
I like
Real
JJ
recognize real. You're not
over
saying
Tyreke.
Kirk Cousins
Yeah,
is number
I like
5.
JJ over Tyreke.
Kirk Cousins ain't saying Kirk Cousins is number 5.
Man, you don't
Kirk
believe
ain't gonna
that.
say he's
You
number
don't believe
5.
that, D. Wills. You've been around athletes. You don't
Man.
believe that. Kirk Cousins looks in the mirror and thinks he's
Kurt
the best
knew.
quarterback in the NFL. You know that. Come on now.
He
He would have
could have named
overcome
the top
his.
5 and maybe
He
put
was a
Kurt
fourth
at.
round pick. Fourth round pick.
Come
Come
on,
on
Kirk
now.
Cousins is not 5.
You've been around major athletes, man. You can't think you're number 2 at that level. You can't think that way.
But Kurt understood why he did that. Kurt himself understood that.
Kurt gonna be another team next year. But again, like I said, just use some common sense, young man. If your quarterback is feeding you, make him number 5. Just use some common sense. You went to LSU, and Brother Tate running the university very well. Let's use some common sense now. You put your quarterback on the list at number 5. That's just basic common sense.
No, today you gotta be authentic.
So we know he ain't won. I mean, we know he ain't won. Let's be real.
You gotta be authentic and real. Are you putting Kirk Cousins number 5?
Nah.
Then don't make him do that. All right, go Darnell. Who you got?
Man, I feel like JJ, Justin Jefferson. I feel like he's more consistent.
Damn,
but
man, you sound like me, man. You sound like me, brother. You sound like me.
The more explosive player is Tyreke Hill. Because if Tyreke Hill is going, there is no stopping Tyreke Hill. But who do I trust more? Like if I had to bet, like it's fantasy football, and I had to choose one for the championship game, I gotta go with Justin Jefferson. So that's my pick.
Yeah, I mean,
I forgot to say, D. Wills, is that the thing about Tyreke Hill that lost my luster with him was like, I was the guy that pounded the table. When they traded him, I'm like, Andy Reid's a damn fool. Big Red's a damn fool. And who was right? Big Red. That's why I'm on the podcast. He's on the sideline. Because they didn't miss a beat with Tyreke Hill out of the building. That's it.
Yeah. And then you see Justin Ross.
He looking like a first round pick. Yeah, man.
Yeah, I mean, Justin Jefferson, yes, I mean, he's the first player to have 3 straight 1,400-yard plus seasons in NFL history. I mean, that's because it's coming out the gate, hitting threes. Obviously, offensive player of the year. And he's also in a division that's in transition. I mean, that's part of what you got to trust is that he's in a division that's in transition. Packers are starting to figure things out. Bears are starting to figure things out. Lions are on the come up, but they got to figure out how they're going to deal with stuff. So I think he's going to be playing these teams twice in the season who are in transition. I think he has versus when you think about Tyreek's going again, he might be going against 3 teams that might have defenses in the top 12, top 15. Patriots, the Jets, Bills, depending on how they flush things out. So he's playing against teams twice a year that are defensively could be, giving him some problems and depends on how, Tua. The one thing you can say is that Justin's quarterback might be a little more consistent being there, being present, whereas we don't know what's going to happen in Miami. So, when you couple that with I think the uptick in the defenses that he's going to be facing, even in his own division, he's going to do his thing. But I trust JJ to be able to make that happen. All right. So we're gonna add some more folks in our future podcast. We're gonna have who you can trust. Darnell made it a little more difficult to kind of figure out a couple of these ones. He had a couple good ones, and we'll figure out. We'll have a couple more folks out here that we'll we'll think about it might be a defense, it might be something else, but we'll add that segment as we get into a future podcast as we get ready for the NFL season. As we prepare to close the show and drop the mic, this is where we try to give out our flowers. We've been trying in 2023 here in RSG. After all we've been through, we've been trying to just shed positive light out there in the world. We're trying to just let people know, give them their flowers while they're here for the most part, and appreciate them. And so this is our time to kind of give out those flowers. All right, Hammer, who you want to acknowledge tonight before we close out?
I'll be controversial. I don't want flowers to the Big Ten. I'll be real about it. People are going to diss the Big Ten, talk about how they've caused problems, but the Big Ten has made the biggest paradigm shift in sports history with this unbelievable. I mean, people told you about this because everything lined up as far as the TV contracts, the teams. In fact, we had the most incompetent conference on this earth, the Pac-12, that has great institutions like Stanford, Cal, sitting the sidelines, but and Kevin Warren, now the Chicago Bears president, they thought outside the box. They thought outside the paradigm. Everyone talked about the great thing, the Minnesota Wisconsin game. It's a great game, but that's not where the money is. The money is Wisconsin and UCLA. That's what people want to see all around the country. Wisconsin, maybe Florida State. That's what they want to see. And so I give the Big Ten credit in that you shocked the world as far as, and you've really caused a paradigm shift. Now, obviously, with people I know, I love my smaller schools, my Akrons, things like that. I'm really worried about those schools as far as we can talk about that. But the so-called mid-level schools are really going to hurt with this model, which bothers me. But again, thinking outside the box, thinking outside what people thought was the paradigm, which was the local rivalries and the occasional regional conflicts with UCLA and USC will become commonplace. It's a different paradigm. It's a different football. You're gonna be able to watch football all day as far as your Midwest team in the South, in the West, and so it's changed the game of football. Not for the better, probably the worse, but again, it's a fascinating thing of how other people are going to react, and how are people going to deal with this new paradigm shift as far as NFL is concerned. I mean, college football is concerned. So that's what I would say. Definitely the Big Ten. You shot the world. I'll give you flowers for it, but help other people get through this period. It's going to be some tough love, like you said.
All right, thank you for sharing. And I would say that from a conference standpoint, I agree with you on the Big Ten. And there's a lot of other pieces there around the research piece that we can talk about that's outside the football stuff that many of these presidents were hoping to benefit from in terms of that relationship. All right, Darnell.
I got Cade Cunningham for the Team USA scrimmage. He was on the select team going against Team USA. He was actually offered a roster spot, but he declined. Still focused on rehab and preparing for the season. But he is practicing with the Team USA, and he showed out in that scrimmage. He was showing everybody why he was the number one pick. He was looking. He reminded me a little bit of Bernard Hopkins, a little bit of Winky Wright, to do like a cross sports reference there. The way he was able to slow down the defense and just he could really just take the air out of the game because Tyreke Halliburton, Brunson, and all of them, they want to play up and down, but he can just take the air out of the game and just control every decision and every possession, making every possession count. And the select team beat Team USA in both games, in both halves of the scrimmage. So yeah, you got to drop the mic by taking my hat off to Cade Cunningham. He's showing why he was the number one pick.
Detroit basketball. Yeah, you sent that link. Wow, I was so smiling. I was teasing. I'm like, ooh, I'm glad he's with us. I'm going to finish how I started. I want to give a shout out to Missouri coach Eli Drinkwitz. I believe that's how he said his name. I just, in a sea of a whole bunch of stuff, I'm glad you spoke up. And even if you dead man walking, like Hammer says, we just need more voices. We just need more voices out there, and people who are not afraid to put this stuff out, to talk about this, so that let's put the real stuff out here for people to talk about it. And we're gonna need coaches to raise these issues. We're gonna need coaches who are in positions. Like the football coaches are the one who own who are leading a lot of these athletic programs and speaking up for their fellow coaches as well. It doesn't mean that we don't, we used to have the Southwest Athletic Northeast Conference, and we used to have all kinds of conferences back in the day that aren't here now. It's not about that. I don't want to get caught up in that kind of thing. But let's make sure when we're making these decisions, if we talk about the welfare of athletes, let's figure out how that stuff is working out, and for all athletes, not just the ones that we believe are the most important, who are filling up these large football stadiums. But there's a whole bunch of other kids who have benefited from being on these campuses and being part of this. So having somebody speak up, regardless of who they are. Yeah, it wasn't one of our Power Five elite coaches saying this. It was a Power Five coach. But we need more of them to speak up to say, hey, let's think about how we're making decisions. And if the business model isn't working for the entire sports organization, how can we still get the money and have everything else make sense, right? And so I have to think, give my hat off, at least somebody speaking up, even if you might be that one voice out there. I appreciate you, and I want to make sure you get that love from here on folks here on RSG. All right, y'all. Until next time, please check us out. Audio version of our show is you can catch it on all podcast platforms. We're back up and rolling. Look for RSG Live on all your platforms. You'll hear us there. You can check us out. We'll be hitting more content on YouTube, or you can go to realsportsguys.com. Please like us, message us, share with other people, spread the good news. We out here trying to do our work, and we appreciate you. We draw energy from it, and we'll see you on the other side.
Hey, yo, Neil. Hey, what's up? I got you. Got you. Yeah. R.I.P. Grammy. Free my brother.